Hi there. I'm with other human beings on a screen. So it's quite a daunting one, this one, but we're going to have a live conversation for about, what do you think, realistically, an hour? We'll see how it goes. We'll aim for an hour, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. And we're going to be talking about masking, and I'm going to go into what masking is in a moment. But first of all, I want the fellow viewers to introduce fellow guests, sorry, to introduce themselves. So, Hannah, would you like to start?
Hi, I'm Hannah, and I run the Do I Look Autistic Yet page on Facebook and Instagram.
Krista?
I am Krista. I have the Neurodivergent Rebel blog and also Neuro Rebel on Twitter.
Kieran?
Hi, I'm Kieran. You're on my page. I'm the Autistic Advocate, and I blog, and I'm on Twitter at Kieran Rose 7 as well.
Awesome. And I'm Sarah. I'm Agony Autie, and I've been invited to host this conversation, which is really awesome because this isn't even my campaign. Me and Krista have been invited in to join in with a conversation about what masking is, because Hannah and Kieran have put together a really exciting campaign that's going to last 6 weeks called is it hashtag take the mask off or taking the mask off?
Take the mask off.
Yeah,
take the mask off.
Awesome. And that starts, when does that start?
23rd of July.
Yeah,
we're doing it for like the English school holidays. So it's going to run the 6 weeks. And then the last kind of 7th week, we're just going to have like a summary in September.
Awesome. Right. So, well, before we go in and talk about what the campaign is and what people can expect and how they can get involved, and because you're breaking it down week by week into topics, which I think is really cool, because masking is a huge subject. And if people do watch Agony Autie, they'll probably notice I've not actually gone there. I've not done one video on masking. And the reason is because it has been something that's always confused me. And it wasn't really something that I understood until I came to the autistic community about 3 years ago. But I do it a lot. Yeah, I do it a lot. And I also get confused about when I do it and when I don't. So would you like to explain, one of you volunteer to explain what masking is from an autistic narrative this is, of course?
Just from my point of view, masking is when I try to act like I'm not autistic in order to fit in the situation. Now, that could be a number of different things, but it's kind of trying to read the situation, which can be really, really difficult as a normal person, let alone an autistic person, and then controlling my behaviour in an appropriate way so that they don't realise that I'm autistic, or they don't realise I'm panicking. It could be something as simple as just suppressing a stim, but it could be changing my whole personality to fit in with what's going on. So it has varying degrees for me personally. And I think probably most autistic people will have their own individual experiences and their own kind of relationship with masking, but that's like my personal preference, personal experience.
Yeah. Thank you, Hannah.
I think that's a really important point as well, what Hannah said. It is very situational and it's very individual as well. That's kind of why, I know we're going to get onto the campaign in a bit, but that's kind of why we wanted other people to be involved and not just it to be about us. Yeah. Because it is such an individual experience and people do it in very, very, very different ways and for very different reasons as well. And some of it is very conscious and some of it's very unconscious as well. And it's something we learn to do as a very small child and build on that. And it's a habit forming thing, really. It becomes a natural defense mechanism to keep us safe.
So what is it for you? What is masking for you, Kieran? So what's an example?
A lot of it for me would be scripting, carrying so many scripts for different situations in my head. If I know I'm going to a certain place, before I go, I'll start perseverating on who I'll be talking to along the way, what I'll be doing, the situation that I'll be in, what I should be preparing for, and who I'll be meeting and talking to along the way as well, and then preparing scripts in my head for every possible permutation of every single conversation I might be having in the next hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then obviously getting thrown completely when none of those scripts actually fit what happens. It is, again, like Hannah said, it's very adaptive, very chameleon-like, and very the scientific community call it camouflage, don't they? Social camouflaging, and it is. I prefer masking, but social camouflaging actually fits very, very well with it.
Yeah, I agree. Krista, what do you think in terms of masking? What is it for you? Oh,
she's disappeared.
She didn't want to answer that question. She got scared.
That's okay. Can she rejoin, Kieran?
Hold on. Yes, you can. 2 ticks.
Cool. I can talk about what mine is there quick while we wait for Krista.
She's back again.
Oh, she here? Krista. Yep, there she is. Cool. Literally right on time. You exited right on time.
What on earth? Maybe I had an internet glitch. Sorry, guys. RV internet. So hopefully that won't happen again. I think the thing that, is for me that I want people to understand is, people sometimes, when we tell people, we can be just, like Hannah said, just suppressing like maybe some things we would normally do at home. Like, you don't run around talking to yourself and making funny noises at work because there's a place.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, there was like the me that I was at school and then the me that I was at home. And now as an adult, it's more me when I'm relaxed and around, my family and close, people who are close to me versus me at work, who is more the professional me. And even now, when, you come here and talk, I'm trying to be authentic, but the me who is more articulate and well-spoken is still somewhat masked just in order to get my thoughts out in a clear way.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily something that is, it's not necessarily always intentional. It's not that, the mask isn't necessarily a part of who I am, because I mean, the masks are me in a way. They're just a different me, but at the same time, it's more work anytime you have the mask on. So it's something that, for me can be very tiring. So I'd rather not mask unless I absolutely have to. So unless I work, I try not to. I just try to relax and be myself because that's exhausting.
Yeah.
So
I think with masking, I think an important distinction to make for me, and I think this is why I got so confused with what masking even was, because I was like, do I do that? And I do. But the difference is masking and personas. Now, everybody has personas, and I like to call them hats, different hats that we wear for different schemas, different scenarios, different environments, right? We all do it. Most humans do it. It's not an autistic specific thing. And you may get people confusing that with masking and saying, well, everyone masks to some extent. And we're talking about masking being specifically related to suppressing the fact that you're autistic, right? Whereas wearing different personas is something that we do as well. Very camouflage, very comedian. And that's why I get them so confused, because I don't know where I'm wearing an Agony Autie hat or a work mode hat or a mum hat, because I'm obviously a mother, or am I masking? I don't know. And I think the distinction for me was masking is when I do pretend to not be autistic. So when I don't move my hands and I really have to fight against it. So my whole body has to tense up, where I force myself to make eye contact and my head is going. I don't even know what they're saying. When I do that, I don't know what they're saying. Yeah. I don't. And they're like, I'm like, yeah, but I don't have a clue. And I'll catch maybe the last sentence. And it's constantly this forfeit of, you have to forfeit a bit of energy here to mask up. And I've noticed since I've become ill with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I've not been able to mask at all as well in public as I used to. And that's why I've got into so many problematic situations, especially when I'm flapping and crying and humming, and it alarms people. So it's difficult. I understand why people mask. I think people, like you said, they do it for a level of self-protection. It's not necessarily that they're ashamed to be autistic. It's that to be autistic and so openly, you can suffer some severe consequences for that, especially from place to place and culture to culture.
Definitely. There's a lot of privilege in being able to not mask. And that's something that I noticed since we started talking about the campaign and stuff, there have been a few people that have jumped in and said that they really want people from ethnic minorities to come in on this and talk about their experiences, because for a lot of them, it isn't safe for them to not mask. They have to suppress all the time, not only because of attention they might receive from the police in various countries, including our own, negative attention, but also negative attention from their own communities as well, who have a very narrow-minded view on what autism is and how it should be treated and how autistic people should be. So I think there's what you're saying there is really, really important, that there is a level of privilege in being able to drop the mask at certain times and being able to be ourselves, even in our own homes. Some people can't even do that, or they're not in a position where they can do that.
Yeah, totally. Sorry, I'm just trying to fiddle with this light 'cause it's doing my head in. Sorry.
Okay.
I completely agree. So let me just have a quick look. I mean, do you think we've described, like, what are some other examples of masking then? So Hannah, what are some examples of you masking, like day to day, out and about?
I mean, the most common one is I try not to verbally stim, because when I'm kind of going around the house or I'm with people that I feel comfortable with, I'll literally just make the most ridiculous noise. I mean, it might be quite quiet, but it's just constant. I mean, one thing, I just go, and I could just sit there and I could make that noise for hours. And obviously, if you're doing that around Sainsbury's and you're by yourself and you're wearing pajamas, people start looking at you in a funny way and they start coming like, are you okay? Do you need a hand? And I'm like, I'm just shopping. Like, leave me alone. It's fine. And like, that's another thing. I would constantly wear pajamas if I had the choice. Just from a sensory point of view, I would love to be able to wear like whatever I wanted outfit wise. But I know that if I put my outfit together based on my sensory preferences, I'm literally going to look like I've been dragged through a charity shop and grabbed 6 things and put it together as an outfit. And that's not okay, because people start worrying about you, and obviously you get strange looks. And it draws attention to yourself as well. And I already draw enough attention just from my own kind of clumsiness. I don't need people looking at me for any other reason. So that's the most common one. Also, I try not to, I do tend to move my hands. At the moment, I'm holding my phone, so I'm not doing it as much as you guys, because I literally can't, or you're not going to see a picture anymore. But I try not to do that as well, because I'll fiddle with my hair, or I'll just end up, again, drawing way too much attention to myself. And then that makes me feel self-conscious. That makes me want to do it even more because I'm panicking, and it's just a whole kind of vicious circle of drawing attention and feeling bad about who I am.
Absolutely. What about you, Krista? What are some of the examples of masking and the effect that it has on you?
You know, for me, it can often be, and oh my gosh, speaking to my soul, talking about walking around making funny noises. That's like, what? I'm always singing to myself. I'm talking to myself. That's me at home, relaxed. But that's not me out in public. It's just because people are, it's the stereotypical thing is like, oh, you're crazy. If you talk about it to yourself, if there's a stigma there. And, it's something that's actually very joyful to me, usually when I'm like, making funny voices and, quoting movies and, just talking to myself. But I can't do that, in public, or sometimes I do. And then I'm like, oh, it's kind of, like, especially at work, you'd be like, oh, that was very unprofessional of me. All of a sudden you're like, oh, so you're holding back. But then it can also be, for example, hiding, like when you're kind of confused about a situation, or like if I've had jobs where you have to go to happy hours and things like that, and all of a sudden I'm in a loud environment where I don't have really bad auditory sensitivities like some people. Mostly lighting is a thing that gets me more than anything else, but I have difficulty. I have very good hearing to the point where I can't always pick out the words when there's a lot of background noise. And so it's like pretending you actually understand the conversation when you're only hearing like every fifth word or every third word. And it's like, and in the meantime, in the background, I'm just like trying to figure out through context clues what the direction of the conversation, and, act like I'm engaged and all of that, when it's like, in reality, it's like I'm going a million miles a minute in my brain, trying to figure out what's going on. It's like, that's, it's like, oh, that's exhausting.
So even this conversation right now is challenging for us, right? Because no offense, I do zone out. I zone out all the time, but it's not because I'm not listening to you. What's happening is it's strange. I overload myself. I listen to what you're saying, whilst preparing what I'm going to say, whilst listening to what you're saying, I'm making notes. So why can't I just stay focused on the one auditory information instead of the internal dialogue and where to, because it's just like this social anxiety, right? That comes as part of it. And it's so difficult. I think with stimming, dead quick before I ask you, Kieran, with stimming, I found that I go to a local cafe, so I'm quite lucky when it's empty. I'm like, with my hands and stuff. And if I listen to music on my scooter, sometimes I can't help it. I'll just be like, like an idiot or whatever. But I can't help it in public. And what I found is that I have those kind of stims, which are obviously going to get more people like, what the hell? But I also have plain sight stims, or hiding in plain sight stims, which I think girls get away with it a lot more, because girls have, to be feminine, you have certain characteristics which you adopt. So, I can't do it anymore. I'm not got the hair. Not like that. Normally it's down here. Like, all this lovely feminine wiles and all this. And you get to tap and touch and actually stim a little bit in plain sight, and you get called, oh, it's just girly, and that's why autistic women and females can get hidden for so long in terms of their diagnosis journey. But I do get to do that. I get to and I get to go like that. These are stims. People like, oh, isn't she cute? No, I'm not cute. I'm nervous. I am nervous. I self-comfort a lot. It's this constant, and this, if I couldn't do that, to mask is to not do any of that. Okay, so to mask is not do any of that. It's not that. None of it, Sarah. I've got to do this all the way through it. Hi, I'm Agony Autie, and I don't know what I'm saying. I actually don't know what I'm saying because I can't move. I don't know what to do. And look, I can't do it. I cannot do it, and that is so problematic for some people because you get punished for it, and you do. And I also find that if I can't do this, my cognitive functioning just goes, I blank out or shut down, or I freeze. I guess I freeze. And also I melt down. So I'm not saying that I need to stim just for the hell of it. I'm saying when I'm nervous and I need to stim, and if I can't do that to regulate that anxiety, what is going to happen? Like, I melt down a lot. I'm an adult that melts down, unfortunately, a lot. And it often is because of masking. And it just boils up. You suppress. Boom. And it's bad. And I hope that what we can have is, part of talking about stimming is that stimming is not so important for all autistics. It is for me. I'm an autistic who loves it, but not all autistic people do. But stimming, I think, if you do unmask, that's where stimming does come into it, because to stim is to be unmasked, right? Stimming is a lot of what we do hide. Would you agree, Kieran?
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And I think I actually questioned whether not all autistics stim. I think every autistic person stims in some way. And I think the ones necessarily that aren't more obvious with it are the ones that are still unconsciously suppressing it, or have found ways to stim. Hide in plain sight stims. In plain sight stims, yeah, exactly. And that's what you said there actually about autistic girls. It's actually a really important thing. It is something I wanted to bring up as well.
Look, Hannah's like, yeah, I can see Hannah doing that. Yeah. People like, oh, everyone does that, and it's like, yes, but I don't think people realize that we are replacing more.
Yeah,
we're replacing.
It's redirecting, isn't it? It's making about in different ways. And I think, like you said about girls are able maybe to do it more in plain sight, and there's a narrative at the minute that girls must, only girls must, and I think that stems from the underdiagnosis thing, and it's, but I think it is what you said is really important. It's because girls can fall into that bracket of they can withdraw, they can become
feminine schema,
they can be nerdy, they can be the yeah, exactly that, they fall into that, whereas boys don't. Boys are supposed to be the brusque, loud, and but I wasn't like that. That's the thing. I kind of fit with the feminine schema more than I do with the male one, and it's but for me, stimming, it's I jig an awful lot. My legs are up and down at the minute. If I was to touch my knees to the table right now, the webcam would be up and down and up and down and up and down. And like if I go out to restaurants and things like that, there's knives and forks rattling across the table and things. And but I used to hand flap when I was a child, and I don't hand flap so much anymore. Yeah. And I think that's because just years of masking I've taught myself not to do it, and I've had to redirect it in other ways because it is too obvious that you do stick out like a sore thumb. But I go the other way with my suppression, and I never really melted down as a child. I very, very rarely melt down as an adult, but I shut down all the time. And my suppression is, you know, I put it in and put it in and put it. I was never the Coke bottle kid at school. I never went to school and blew up when I got home. I got home and still suppressed and still marked when I didn't feel safe at home either. And that environment wasn't healthy for me. And then it's kind of, then, you know, obviously we lead into burnout. We talk about the mental effects of things. That's when you start talking about burnout. And obviously, you know, that's something I've written extensively on. And that's a hugely tied to masking. Our whole environment leads into burnout and leads into all of these mental health issues that follow on.
Burnout is basically like chronic fatigue, but you can experience it without any physical disability. Yes. You can experience it just from the effects of neurologically having to suppress
mental energy that you're using,
or the need to emotionally regulate or sensory regulate. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to read a few comments because we've got quite a few people, you know, commenting about the mental health impacts that they experience from stimming. So, Kath Sawyer's put, I suppressed my hand stims and I didn't realise until last year. I would hold myself tense, clench my fists, or literally sit on my hands. So I do a lot of hand squeezing on and off camera. And if I'm not squeezing my hands, I actually grab my leg and I squeeze the leg. And it's like self-confidence.
Right now. It's funny.
Yeah, just because you feel nervous, and the nerves, it's not going away. It's definitely calmed down.
Yeah,
definitely. And I probably won't be moving as much at some point, but that my body's not gotten to that point yet, and it's not harming anyone, right? So why can't we have a conversation as autistics about what are healthy stims, what are good stims? How do you find it? You know, instead of just don't stim, we get to have that conversation. And that's why I think your masking campaign is really good. I'm just going to read another comment, and I do want to move on to the masking campaign. But someone's popped here. So one second. Callum, you're so cute. He's put, stimming is flapulous. You're so funny. I like that one. Russell's put, has anyone got any good suggestions for stim toys for the office? Something which looks professional and executive. So I have stim toys which people don't really think are stim toys. The necklace, I know it's so ridiculous, it's so girly, right? But you can get away. It's around my neck and I'm constantly like this. I like to gather because of the auditory. You can have like little bracelets, but I like to take in, rather than the conventional sensory toys, not because of it, I'm ashamed, but I like crystals. I get a lot of visual stims. You can stim differently, can't you? Stim tactile, stim visually, stim auditory, stim vocally. So it depends what your stim is. Are you tactile? Are you movement? Are you pressure? But it's difficult. I mean, there's a growing market, but there isn't a huge one, is there, for adult kind of, not appropriate, but say if you wanted to mask the fact that you're stimming through not making it bright and plastic and like, it's a stim toy, look, here's a stim toy. Like, if you wanted to be a little more, you know, there's not really those options, but I do know they are out and about. I've seen some fidget cubes that are like, wow, but they're quite expensive as well, aren't they?
I've got a black and silver stim cube, which looks like, it's like just a dice. It's like this big, and it's obviously got different things on each side. And that's quite cute because I can fit it in my pocket, and I can do it in my pocket without anyone really realising what I'm doing. And if it's on like a desk, because it's black and silver, it does look like not a child's toy. It looks like semi okay. Obviously, if someone was to look at it, they would realise what it is. But it's just like, little black and silver cube. I don't have it right now.
Yeah, I know. I totally know what you mean. Like, I love this one. Like, this one's broken, so it's like...
Oh, they're my favourite. And then
some of them are really hard, but this one's a really nice soft one. 'Cause I struggle with squishing and stuff in my joints. squishy. And I've been doing that since I was 5. Squishy. Oh. But I managed, like, this is the thing, I was lucky growing up in terms of masking, because I will say, Helen Bates, this is the comment I wanted to read out. She's put, the impact of masking on mental health and self-identity is massive. Environment can give or deny permission to be autistic. Stimming and embracing true autistic self is proven to be necessary for mental health. Thank you, Helen. So that's Helen's experience with it. And I would say I've been quite fortunate because I have stimmed and what I understand to be some minor tics as well, pretty much all my life. And I have gotten away with it. And they didn't know I was autistic. I just don't understand. I was born in the 80s, okay? It's just never going to happen because I could talk so much. But since the age of 4 or 5, I've been, oh, squishy, oh, squash, 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 excessively, every day, grinding the teeth, squash, 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 biting the skin off, for years. So I did get to do it because people saw it as quirky, funny, clownish. But what happened was I got wrapped up in that mask of being funny and losing myself a bit because I didn't know how else to be. And when I did burn out, they were like, what's wrong with you? Or, you're boring now. And I felt I had to be funny, Sarah, all the time. And it's so difficult. So I did get to stim, but it came a bit at a cost because it came with a role. I got known to be the crazy, quirky, kooky one. But unfortunately, when you get to high school, that's a bit attention-seeking, narcissistic, vain one, kind of multi-personality Sarah, right? So it's difficult. It's difficult because at the end of it all, in the midst of it all, I am just this anxious, nervous, autistic person who was just trying to regulate and understand myself. And I got so mixed and confused with my personality and identity. I think the point that Helen makes, masking and mental health and identity, even when you unmask, it can be pinned to you as well. So it's so problematic, I think. Unmasking and staying masked, they come both with consequences, don't they?
They do, completely. Helen, I know Helen, and I know she's coming also from like an educational point of view. She's a member of FIGS, and wonderful, wonderful group. And so,
FIGS, what does it stand for? What does FIGS stand for?
Fighting Inequality for Girls on the Spectrum.
That's it.
Really, it's a cracking group. Really, really good group. And they're getting cracking.
I like that one.
But she's coming from an educational point of view. There was a tweet that I wanted to mention earlier, and it was by a teacher, and it was to NQTs, newly qualified teachers, and it was talking about how best to get your children to behave in the classroom. And it was basically, for the first week you have your class, you make sure they sit still. You make sure they look at look at whoever's talking. You put your pencils down when someone's speaking, and it was all restrictive. And I tweeted back about that's great for you, but what you're doing is discriminating against every child in that classroom, because not only autistic kids stim, everybody stims. Everybody needs some release in order to be able to focus on what's going on, to be able to concentrate. But if my oldest son was in that class, he stands up at the table and he spins around while he's working. He makes vocal stims, like you were talking about earlier. He's got a great screech. And he fiddles with stuff. He fiddles with his pencil. He doodles.
Fidgeter, ants in your pants.
Constantly. Yet he's top of the class in maths and
like my son.
He's super, super intelligent, but yet he does all these things. But, school have made accommodations where he sits at the end of a table where he's not going to knock into anybody, so he's not distracting anybody. And he knows if he's going to do a vocal stim, he does it into the corner of his arm so that he's not disturbing anybody else's concentration, And it's allowing things like that, which are allowing him not to have to mask. But I know that he's going to go into senior school, and it's going to be a very, very different prospect.
Yeah.
And it's, again, what Helen said, it's that environment. It's, if your environment is safe, then you can stim freely. Then the true you is there. You're able to, if you're at school, you'll be working at the top of your potential. If you're in work, you'll be working at the best of your potential. If you're at home, you'll be a great husband, partner, mother, daughter, whatever. If your environment is safe, all of those things happen and you are a happy person. But the moment your environment is not safe, everything switches off, and you start using up that energy to constantly suppress who you are.
I was gonna say, like, for Krista though, Krista's in America, aren't you, my love? You're in the United States, and it's a completely different climate there, because ABA is widely practiced there. I mean, I know it exists in the UK, but it's kind of the standard norm, right, Krista?
Yeah.
So to see like hashtags such as embrace the stim, you know, it's okay for the Brits to be sat here talking about it. What do you think, considering your schools are absolutely saturated with that approach to treating autism as they see it? They see achievement. If you act less autistic, that's an achievement. So that's masking, right? That's what we're talking about.
You know, one of the things I think I'm actually grateful for being over here is that I was late diagnosed and so was not subjected to that. But still, you know, that can happen very naturally through your peers, kind of, and bullying. But I worry a lot for the kids and the young people who are literally being raised, you know, you try to make someone ashamed of just things that are just natural to them and naturally who they are. That takes a toll on your self-esteem and, you know, mental health. And, you know, we have really bad mental health and suicide rates and anxiety and depression, and those conditions are not inherently autistic conditions.
Oh no, they don't have to be that way. Not at all. So I was going to say, what are some of the things, I want to hear more about this campaign. So what is the campaign? We talked about masking. We talked about, obviously briefly, about some of the impacts it has on us personally, about some of the confusion around what masking is and what a persona is. I do find it confusing, but I think I've gotten my head around it. Masking is when you're suppressing the urge to regulate in an autistic way, whereas but then echolalia comes a lot into masking as well. It's not all masking. It's not separate, is it? You can talk about masking and echolalia may pop up, and stimming will definitely pop up, right? So what is the campaign breaking it down into, Hannah? What is the campaign looking at from 6 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, so the 6 weeks, personally, I'm going to be doing it via live videos that I'm going to do on my Facebook, and then I'll put links on Twitter and other social media. But the main aim is that we've basically got a topic for every week, and other advocates, we're encouraging them to get involved, obviously, like inviting you and Krista along as well. And we're hoping that we just get loads and loads of traffic to the hashtag and loads of people talking about their own individual experiences. So the 6 topics, I've got them written down because I would forget with all the anxiety what they were. So the first one is basically, what is masking? So we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail than obviously what we have done today. What is stimming? Because again, like you said, sometimes you feel like some autistic people don't stim whatsoever. And I think I agree with Kieran that they do, but they just don't present it in the same way that, you know, it's like traditional stims, like the hand flapping and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then we're going to be talking about mental health, which I think is really, really important, because the life expectancy for an autistic person is greatly reduced. And obviously some of that's going to be to do with comorbids like epilepsy, but a really big factor is suicide, which I don't think it's not right in 2018 that suicide is a big factor on such a kind of minority group of people. It's not fair on anybody. The next bit then is going to be burnout, which we're going to go into more detail. And I know that Kieran's already done a lot about this, but it's still really important because not enough people talk about it. I think we see the dramatic videos of all the kids melting down in shopping centres and screaming and kicking and the parents crying and all that kind of stuff, but we don't talk about how that actually affects the person and what happens after the meltdown, what comes after that bit. Then talk about diagnosis and kind of self-identification for self-diagnosed people as well, and what impact that has. I'm also late diagnosed. I think obviously all of us in this conversation are.
So sorry, a fly landed on me.
Kill it with fire.
It landed on my eye. It landed there, and then it went on my elbow.
I'm surprised you're still alive, to be honest. That's not okay. Is it gone?
It's gone, but I just know it's gonna come back.
Get Liam to get it. get Liam to catch it. What
Liam. It's because it's summer. It's like we're in the middle of a heat wave in the UK, Krista, and the windows are all open because they're like, and all the flies are just like, land on me. And my flight. I'm so sorry.
That's okay, don't worry.
You need Liam with his Karate Kid chopsticks, don't you, to catch them all?
Chopsticks with a fly. Thank you forever. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I'm so sorry, Hannah. Sorry, go on, my love.
It's okay. The week after the diagnosis, we're then talking about coping mechanisms and almost like using the mask to our advantage, like when it's okay to mask, if at all, because some people think that it isn't okay to do it whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I do like.
But we're still, you need to mask. But yeah. It's not safe all the time.
Exactly. There's some situations where, like Kieran, I have like a script, and then if I don't have the script and I just go off on a tangent and suddenly talk about one of my special interests for 6 hours, it's not going to be acceptable. I'm going to get myself in trouble. So yeah, about learning when it's appropriate and how to do it appropriately as well. Like it might be worth masking, like I said, you know, going off on a massive tangent, but you might be able to keep some stims so that you can still self-regulate and still not give yourself any kind of pressure and, you know, doing it appropriately like that. And then lastly, we're just going to have at the beginning of September, as the kids are going back to school, we're just going to have like a, what has the 6 weeks done? How has it affected you? Have you taken the mask off? How do you look at it differently? And just see what the result of the 6 weeks process has been.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think it's going to take a while for some people to get used to, because like for me, I question myself so much. I'm still like, am I masking? Am I not? Am I being myself? Am I not? And like what I've also found out is this, like, so I'm quite burnt out at the moment, which means I'm not my usual excited self. And when I'm excited, when I'm really excited, I can present my personality, can present off the wall. Like, oh my God, Doctor Who the other day, do you see Doctor Who there? Why do you not watch Doctor Who? You know, like, shut up about Doctor Who, Sarah. Like, yeah. So it can go really like, you know, so happy that people say to me, when I do crash, it's like, you're a different person, it's a different personality. And they're like, oh, were you masking then? And then I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I got all confused. And what happens is I end up feeling false and fake. And what it is I'm just happy. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. And it comes out as blah. But that's energy. That's social and emotional energy. And I burn myself out. Okay? And that swing, that roller coaster has taken me, it took me a while to just get used to it. And I get used to it now. I get used to the fact that there'll be some days where I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I can't stop moving. And then there'll be other days where I'm happy, but I have no energy, but people mistake that, and that's not a mask. I think that is your emotional levels draining and refilling. And do you know what I mean? So I think it's important when people look at masking, they do know. If they think, oh, why can't I take this mask off? Why can't I take it off? Maybe you're trying to take off something that isn't to be taken off, or maybe you're analysing a part of yourself actually, which is just genuinely tired or just genuinely very happy. And it's difficult, I find, because I end up just tarnishing my whole self and personality as bad. Bad. And then it's, you know, to the point where I've been looking at narcissistic personality disorder and trying to apply it to me, because I'm like, I'm such a bad person. Maybe I'm a narcissist. You know, it never stops. I never give myself a break. And I think masking, being able to just be quite proud, yes, privileged, definitely. But proud and very privileged and fortunate that all my life since 5, I've been able to go, squishy, wah, wah, wah. And my mum and dad have never chastised me. They've joined in, for God's sake. You know, look, what a wonder for my mental health that's been, and how that has shaped my identity and myself. Because that means that I can just be me, because luckily I have often been me. But like I said, it does come to a cost. So yeah. Let me just, can we have a look at some of the comments? Is that okay? Or would
I'm
like
excited.
Yeah? Let's have a look at some of the comments. Sarah Clark says she's the same. She's 100 miles an hour and she's excited. with the mouth, but she'll go home and crash from it all, and she'll use one-liners and humor as a mask. Yeah, I don't know if I use, this is the thing, this is where I get confused. I don't know whether I use one-liners and phrases and like, yo, and things like that. I don't know whether I use it as a mask, because I don't think it's a mask. I think they're more ticky, stimmy echoes, echolalia. It's like my way of communicating. And for a while I did think, why do you do that? It's so fake. And so I'm not actually masking. I am actually echoing. Do you know what I mean? How we get confused maybe sometimes with it.
Sorry, do you see that as a form of deflection as well, though? If you're reacting like that, it's because maybe you haven't understood what's been said, or you haven't heard properly, or, you know, and it gives you maybe that little bit of time to actually formulate a proper response or to consider what's been happening.
Yeah, sometimes what I'll do is, it's really strange. My brain will give me a really long, complicated sentence to say to the viewers whilst I figure out at the same time where to go next. So it's burnout, because it's like this it's multi-dual kind of you're coaching yourself constantly, I think, especially when out and about. I think it's Chuck Palahniuk who said that we all have invisible guns to our head. And what he meant by that is you don't need someone. By the time you're old and you're saturated within society, you don't need someone to tell you to not stim, to not hum. It doesn't matter if that's over. It doesn't matter if you're an adult. You've had it ingrained in you so much that even the idea of doing it is problematic, because it's a taboo. It's how is Kieran supposed to, when he's nervous, go down the street and go, ah! I can do it. Look, little Sarah girl, gender, it's all gendered. Gendered politics is, oh my God. And people are like, oh my God, are you okay? Oh, she's hysterical. Kieran could probably get arrested. Right? So like,
yeah, completely.
With unmasking and with stimming, if I would argue that with guys with stimming, and especially if you are from Black and visible minorities, those behaviors could be perceived as a threat. And that's not me blaming you at all. That's me blaming society's perception of you as a threat, as the monster, as the bad thing. So we've had autistic people. There was a case in 2017, last year, just in the summer. An autistic teenager was out with his carer and he was flapping his hands. He was stimming and he was humming. And the officer saw him. Trigger warnings, everyone. It's not nice. The officer saw him, and within 30 seconds had this autistic person pinned to the ground. And he asked 2 questions. He said, what are you doing? The autistic person said, I'm stimming. And the police said, I don't know what that is. Before he did it again, and the policeman was like, right, get on the ground. What have you taken? Thought he was on drugs. And on the way, he bashed his head on the tree. And the boy, all the way through it, was saying, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. So self-comforting, self-soothing, okay? He'd gone repetitive to shut down, as we will understand. And the policeman used this as more evidence of drug abuse. And the carer intervened. She's like, what on earth are you doing? He's autistic. He has learning disabilities. What the hell are you doing? He was stimming. And the police officer was like, yeah, he said that, but I don't know what that is. And then got off him. And it's like, that case, that gentleman was white. In the other 2 cases that happened in the last year, 4 actually, we've lost 4 vulnerable Black men have died from police intervention, from meltdowns, epileptic fits, from this. So little white, pale, frail Sarah, of course she can take off the mask and embrace the stim. That's what we mean when we talk about privilege. But when other people are losing their lives from it, that's when, with any movement where we're trying to form an identity and a culture, we always have to balance it with the civil rights. And what is the cost? What is the cost? And how do we protect? And you do it from awareness, yes, but training, because what that police officer and many have demonstrated is, I don't have a clue what stimming is or autism. And actually, I've had no autism training, none, zilch. 0. And I would argue that anyone with duty of care, especially anyone who comes in contact with the public, would need that training, considering the lives that we have lost needlessly. in the last year or so. Well, it's been going on more than that, but
this falls back on social responsibility as well, because society has a responsibility to educate itself about autism, and the best possible place to learn about autism is from autistic people, not from non-autistic people who read books and then study us.
Yes.
You know, and it's there is a huge lack of societal responsibility in every aspect of society, not just in criminal justice and police, and it's education, health. Every single aspect of society is woefully lacking in understanding about us and lacking in acceptance of us as well. And this is one of the reasons why, when Hannah and I first started talking about this is why I wanted this conversation to happen, because masking is such a fundamental part of what stops us from being who we are. And it's society that causes this to happen, gives us this need to protect ourselves and to be able to say to each other, you know, I'm not going to be me. I'm going to hide myself. I'm going to protect myself. And we shouldn't have to protect ourselves. We shouldn't have to worry about what other people think about us and what the reaction of other people are going to be.
Absolutely.
None of this should happen. And yes, we live in a world where, you know, this is the world that we live in. We live in a world where people are scared of us to a degree because they don't understand us. And then that's where ABA comes in. I noticed, just on a little tangent there, I noticed someone earlier saying, I think someone from the UK saying ABA isn't a problem for us here. ABA is a huge problem for us here in the UK. It's, you know, people look to the UK as being one of the forward-thinking countries in the world about autism, but for every step forward that we take, there's a separate channel that takes a step backwards, because behavioural therapies in the UK are becoming, it's rife with them, and they're becoming more and more prevalent. Positive behaviour. PBS. And there are so many different names for it. There's Sunrise and
oh god, I had an argument with the Sunrise lady years ago.
It's behavioural therapy
and autism acceptance. Like they have with that.
This is the thing. All of these people think that they are doing us good, think they are doing the right thing, and what they're actually doing is just harming us. And it's society.
So they get hurt when they hear like that. They shut down. They're like, "What do you mean I'm harming you? I was trying to help." And what we're being autistic in terms of factual and logical, not to hurt you. It does harm us. That you know, things like this, the Sunrise program. Oh my goodness me! But I was going to ask. I was just going to say, I was looking at. Lee's pointed out here that women aren't immune from police brutality as well. Daniel Jacobs was a really sad situation. Absolutely. I was pointing out more in terms of men are more susceptible to that in terms of their mortality. I totally agree. And I've experienced it myself with security, being constantly called on me in hospital purely for just being autistic and in pain. And it's like, well, you must have done something. This is what I did, this. And I asked for someone to review my medication, and that's enough to be rude and arrogant. And they analyze your face, the tone of your voice. It doesn't matter if you don't swear. It doesn't even matter if you say please and thank you and that you're sorry. They will call you rude and aggressive, and it's scary. It can be scary. Sorry to sound, if that sounds negative, I'm paranoid about sounding negative, but it's just, you know, it happens. But I was going to say, Krista. Mm-hmm. Was there anything that you wanted to add in terms of what we're talking?
I like how we're all laughing. We're not like,
oh my god, is that, we can't rush to our rescue though.
Oh, yeah.
We're not feeling.
Oh my.
It's so big, I saw it on the screen though. I was like,
yeah, I saw it.
So, Krista, is there anything you want to add?
Run, Sarah, run!
Where is it? Did you see it?
I didn't
see the bee.
It was big.
Did you see it?
Yes, it was literally giant.
That darling is useless, Julian. Come on, man. No, but we can't exterminate the bees. Are you kidding me? They're endangered. They're endangered. So even if it came up to me, I'd be like, ah! But I wouldn't kill it. I'd just scream throughout the whole ordeal. Where is it? That's a fly. That's fine. Can you close that? People are like, stop, he's so brave. Can I just apologize for the auditory overload? I hate when I overload so many people. I'm so sorry for the screaming. It's such an instinctive reaction. Anyway, Krista, was there anything that you wanted to ask? I'm going to start rounding it or wrapping it up now, but I have really enjoyed this. I was really nervous. Bees made me nervous, but I think it was really nice because at one point I kind of just stopped and I was listening to what you were saying, but I was looking around and I could see we had all settled. I keep hearing buzzing. It's like, you fluffy bastard, where are you? Where are you? I can't hurt you either, you little rat. Anyway, but it was nice because I could see we'd all kind of settled, and a lot of us were like, we weren't stimming as much, and it's because I managed to go and regulated and calm down, and it was just nice. It's nice to be able to talk in front of people who aren't judging every single facial expression that I make, because I make so many, and it's only when I look back I'm like, why can't I control that? Why can't I tone that down a little bit? But you don't judge me, and to have that space to, I don't know, be able to talk about masking and not have to mask, that's refreshing. That was, so thank you is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, should we go round? Is there anything you want to say, Hannah, before we go?
Firstly, I want to thank you just for hosting the whole thing. So thank you for doing that and facilitating that and being so brave, because I think all of us said in the group chat before this was happening, I'm so nervous but excited, but nervous but really, really nervous. So thank you for kind of leveling us all, keeping us on track as well, because I feel like this could easily have been carnage if you weren't kind of in control of the situation. So thank you.
You're giving me way too much credit. Come on, you've come to us with a brilliant conversation and a brilliant campaign, and I'm going to think about how I can get involved. I'm going to have a look at what the different subjects are, and yeah, I mean, because Krista, you do Neurodivergent Rebel, don't you, my love? You do a blog, so I'm sure you're going to be joining in weekly too, yeah?
Oh yeah, working on some stuff. I'm really grateful you guys invited me. I think this is such an important topic, and we need to talk about it, because the end goal is for autistic people to just kind of be themselves and nobody think anything of it, because it's completely natural and normal, because they're like, oh, okay, they know what it is. And the best way, I think, is for us to be so public about it and just be out there and be visible, and just kind of share with what that is. So I'm just amazed to be with three really fabulous people here. Topics. So thank you guys so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Krista. And Kieran.
Hello.
What's that? That was a stim, okay? That was a hide in plain sight stim, or just a really obvious one.
That was
just good. You got away with it, right?
No, just to echo what the others have said. Firstly, yes, thank you for doing this, both of you, Krista as well, and Hannah. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you either. So I just hope we can make a difference, and I want this to be a platform for other people, and that's the most important thing that happens here, and that there are lots of autistic people that don't understand themselves very well, and don't understand autism very well, and don't understand other people's experience of autism. So I think it's important that that they can get involved in this and can learn a lot about other people and about themselves in the process by doing that, because we do learn through learning about others. And I think it's going to be 6 weeks of probably mayhem, but I just hope as many people as possible can get involved and share their experiences, and just to be encouraged to be themselves as best they can. That's the most important thing, not necessarily to keep themselves safe, but to be themselves as much as they can, because at the end of the day, masking kills us. It physically, mentally, it kills us, and literally kills us. So it's so important that people understand themselves, that parents understand their children, and that society as a whole learns about this and learns about the impact that they're having on us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you so much, my love. Oh, bless. Echo, people are saying. Thanks, guys. The great live video. Thank you from Lisa Dryden. Thanks for doing this, says Michael Morford. Amanda Briggs, I think that's another Fix lady.
It is, yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. Oh, another one come from Callum. You're coming up with some words I'm going to keep forever. You're looking for Stimpeccable. Yes. What was the other one?
Flappulous, yeah.
Flappulous. Or Stimflappulous or something like that. Yeah, Flappulous. What was that? What is it called? Callum, you need to make me a document with stimmy words. Stimmy-tick words for Sarah so that she can spurt them out in her live chat. What is it called? There it is. Stimpeccable. Yes, that's it. Gonna have that on now. Pun stims. That's the thing I do. That's what Catherine Erebus said. I hope I said 4 hugs from John Greeley. I don't know what that was.
Did you feel it, John? Did you feel it?
She's got a face.
What? I'm not. What's Doctor Who? Doctor what? Doctor Who? I thought it was Doctor what? I love Doctor Who. Of course. I mean, come on, if there's anyone more alien, if there's anyone more autistic.
Oh, Doctor Who's definitely autistic.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Every carnation of Doctor Who is autistic.
He's an alien. He's a human who is having to basically be... The actor has to think, right, I'm an alien, and I'm an alien who has to try and act human. So I'm trying to do it, and I'm echoing, and it's literally so much of who I am. When I saw the Doctor, I was like, why do I identify with an alien? Come on, like, that's not... Out of all the people to identify with, the strongest bond is this alien? Okay. That's before I knew I was autistic. And now when I meet so many autistic people, like Whovian, yeah, Whovian, yeah, okay, cool. So we instinctively are drawn to each other's personalities and our tribes. And that is what is quite nice. If you do feel alone, really look around you. Look at who's gravitated in your lives. Look at who you've let in really closely, because you do, I find, by accident, end up gravitating towards, whether it's through film, media, whether it's friendship circles, whether it's books or text, you do find yourself through it all, through all that masking and through all that suppression of yourself. You do find it unconsciously. Not always. I don't know. Have a little look in your life closely. I'm surprised at some of the things I've done in my life, because I'm like, wow, it's like I knew, but I just didn't know it was autistic. I didn't know the name.
One of my oldest childhood friends, he was recently diagnosed as an adult as well, and we were so close at school, and we were both a bit, like you said, everyone thought we were kind of quirky, a bit strange, a bit like, oh, it's just them. And then now for both of us to have a diagnosis, although we're not in each other's lives as much because we've both grown up and moved away from our hometown, it's really weird that like both of us were so close and we both find out we're autistic.
Yes, well, one of my best mates is autistic and she has EDS, and we were both diagnosed in our mid-20s. So come on, like the best friend out of everyone. It's like, I'll have you. Yeah, both autistic, both falling out of our joints. It's like, what's up? How did we know that? Your tribe, Neurotribes. Read Steve Silverman's Neurotribes if you've not. I say that, I've only read a third of it. Now, speaking to him, going, I've not even read all your book, I'm sorry, because my reading's terrible. I can't read books. I'm really bad. So, yeah. Anyway, better go because I'm waffling on. But we had a brilliant reaction. We've had so many comments, and I think we're all going to have a read through them, aren't we? Once we've had some time to decalibrate and maybe have a little go at answering them. So thank you to everyone who watched this and engaged and interacted. It's not easy sometimes putting what you think. So it's nice that you
before we go, Sarah, we go, if anybody wants to get involved, it's open to non-autistics as well. If any parents want to talk about their experiences of their children masking, anything like that, on Facebook, Twitter, I know you guys are on Instagram as well.
Instagram,
Hannah.
Do it for the gram.
All you need to do is go to the search bar on whatever social media platform you are and put in the hashtag take the mask off. and everything involved with the campaign will be popping up. Every tweet, every post, every comment, everything that's got that hashtag on it will come up. So anybody can follow it and anybody can join in and take part and talk about them and talk about their lives.
Well, I'll be sharing it loads. Any videos you do, I'll be sharing it, and I'll be watching what you're doing and hopefully joining in as well, definitely. But thank you so much, Krista from Neurodivergent Rebel, for joining us. And thank you to Hannah and Kieran for putting this campaign together and for wanting us to come in and be like, oh, as well. It's been nice. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to go and have some lunch, I think, after this. I've not eaten today. So bad. You should eat before nattering, because now I'm like, da 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 boom boom, da 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 boom boom. Yeah, that's what I'm like. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you for watching.
See you later.